next.
Welcome to Dunedin, Florida on a glorious Saturday afternoon. A little treat for our Canadian baseball fans today. You'll get a chance to see the Blue Jays, and they're going to take on the Canadian National Junior Baseball team. Hello, everybody. I'm Buck Martinez, along with my partner, Pat Tabler. And, Pat, a little different look today. We're not playing a regular Major League team, but it's exciting. We get to see the Canadian Junior program here today.
Greg Hamilton and his crew do such a great job of exposing these kids against great competition. And they're doing it at a very young age. They've been together 2 and 3 years. And some of these kids, they're 4 of the top 100 prospects of Baseball America. And one of them, Adam Hall, is a top 20 prospect. And what's interesting about these kids, if they don't have a professional career right now, they have a chance to go to some very good university colleges in the United States, Texas A&M, Vanderbilt, UC Santa Barbara. And Landon Leach, the big right-hander who we're going to see today, will go to the University of Texas, which has thrown out some pretty good players themselves, like Roger Clemens.
Well, this is going to be a great afternoon. This is part of a split squad day for the Blue Jays. The regulars are over in Tampa taking on the Yankees. But there is a Blue Jay here in this game today that's really looking forward to this game. And for more on that, let's check in with Arash Madani.
Well, Buck, there certainly is. And when this Canadian team arrived earlier this morning, Russ Martin was standing on this side of the field wanting to say hellos with some familiar faces and some old friends. Martin spent about 10 minutes raving to me about his time with this program. He's a proud Canadian and a proud alumnus of this Team Canada roster. Now, meanwhile, on the side with the Blue Jays, a big day for Steve Pearce. It's his first big league spring training game playing in the outfield. He's going to start in left. The Blue Jays want to see exactly how that arm is going to respond after offseason elbow surgery to repair some tendons. If Pearce can start in left field, of course, that changes the dynamic of how this roster makeup will be when they head north. Also a treat today, Vladimir Guerrero Jr. will start at third base. Of course, he's one of the highest touted prospects in the entire organization. So many people involved with this franchise can't wait to see how he develops. And as Buck mentioned, a number of the regulars, 6, are over in Tampa to face the Yankees today, and they will get some significant playing time with only 5 days left in Florida, fellas. They want to see exactly what some of these players can be like in as close to a real game situation as possible.
A busy weekend here in Dunedin. Mark Shapiro and Robbie Alomar catching up from their Cleveland days. Adam Hall, he'll be its shortstop for the Canadian National Junior team. And Cooper Davis, a speedy center fielder. That's all coming up next. Stay tuned. Good baseball action here from Dunedin.
This program brought to you by new Scott's Lawn Response 911, a 3-in-1 solution that rescues your lawn.
Welcome to Dunedin, Florida. We are back, and it's a beautiful afternoon, and it's a little bit different look today. You're going to see the Canadian Junior National Team play and some real top prospects in North America. As Pat mentioned in the open, 4 of the top 100 high school prospects, according to Baseball America, are on this Canadian roster. And let's take a look at their lineup now. Greg Hamilton has been the manager for this club. He's been in charge of the junior national team since 1998. Here's the lineup. Top of the order, Cooper Davis. He is committed to Vanderbilt, and he's a speedy center fielder. The Alomar called him Devon White earlier when we were having a chance to catch up with him. Adam Hall, another terrific shortstop, Noah Naylor. And if you're familiar with that name, his older brother Josh Naylor was a first-round pick of the Miami Marlins, and Noah's got a chance to be another first-rounder. Catcher hits left-handed. Clayton Keys, Edward Julian, Jason Willow, Dondre Bremner, who's going to go to the University of Cincinnati. Michael Stoveman is the DH, and Lucas Parente is in left field. Starting pitchers brought to you by Scott's Turf Builder. Green Max Lawn Food. Get a deep green lawn in just 3 days.
That was the lineup that we were going to see for the junior national team, and Mike Ellerhorst will come up from the minor leagues, come over from the Bobby Matic complex and throw for the Blue Jays. He was a 24th round draft pick just last summer, drafted by the Jays from Saginaw Valley State. That's in the state of Michigan. He's 22 years old. He's originally from Parma, Ohio. He's 6'4". He weighs 220 pounds. Just 11 games last year, 5 of them starts. He was good the first half of the season with a 193 earned run average and a batting average of 236. When he's ahead in the count, batters hit just 150 off of him last season.
Well, he's got a good defense behind him today, and we're going to see Steve Pearce making his start in left field. And this is an interesting day for Steve Pearce, coming back from elbow surgery. First day in left field. And how about 18-year-old Vladdy Guerrero getting a start here this afternoon? Everybody's anxious to see Guerrero in a Blue Jays uniform. First pitch of the game is down and away for a ball, and we are underway.
Ellerhorst doesn't throw very hard, but he throws plenty of strikes. Spent last season again in short season Vancouver. So all of our fans out west should be very familiar with Mike Ellenhorst, or Ellen Best.
Ball on a strike to Cooper Davis. There's a base hit to left field for Davis, and remember, he can run. Davis is from Mississauga. He's made a commitment to go to Vanderbilt, and he's a pretty interesting young player.
Got a nice little short stroke. He'll let that ball travel as much as he can and then almost take it right out of that catcher's glove, just slap it the other way. He's an ideal type of leadoff hitter with a short stroke. And I was talking to him today, and he told me, he says, I'm going to steal. If I get on base, I'm going to show that I can run.
This is Adam Hall, the shortstop, and Hall is a top 20 prospect, according to Baseball America, in North America, among high school baseball players. So, pretty good young player. He's committed to Texas A&M, and he's from London.
Well, when you watch him, and we had a chance to watch him in batting practice today and take ground balls, he's your prototypical type of shortstop. Do everything the right way. Says he loves watching Troy Tulowitzki play defense over at the Rogers Center.
They check in on Davis over at first. Yeah, he was a very interesting young man to talk to, Adam Hall. You mentioned he's from London, Ontario. He's the 16th high school prospect, according to Baseball America.
Nothing real flashy about his game, but always in the right spot at the right time. Looks like he's trying to take a couple of shots to right field with that first baseman holding the runner on. There's a hole on the right side of the infield.
This Canada Junior National Baseball team is playing their second of 10 games they'll have on this spring trip. Oh-2 in the dirt. Nice block by Ullman. We mentioned Greg Hamilton. He's the director of the national teams and the head coach of the junior national team. He's been that since 1998. Greg's done a terrific job with his organization, certainly giving these young players a great experience of traveling around playing against the pro teams during spring training.
They do such a great job. At the exposure at such a young age, think about it when you were 16 and 17 years old. To come to Florida and play on a major league diamond, I would have been scared to death. I don't know about you.
Oh, yeah. You talk to these kids and you look at some of their bios. They have played in Fenway Park. They've played in Wrigley Field. They've been in showcases all over North America. And it's pretty interesting that they have traveled so much and have played in so many different places that this is just another day in their schedule.
And it really prepares them for the junior national team, the World Juniors, which is happening this year actually in Ontario. They're going to spend some time here in Florida. They'll also go to the Dominican Republic Summer League. They're going to have a team and go down to the Instructional League. All told, about 50 games, then their club teams in the summertime. So the exposure that they get at such a young age against great competition, by the time you sign your pro contract or go to college, no chance you're going to be intimidated. You've seen 95 plus.
Yep, and you'll have an opportunity to get into the routine. Here's the 1-2 pitch. Bouncing ball. Barney at second. Flips to short for one. Back to first. In time, it's a double play. That one, Barney playing at second base, and Gregorio Petit, the shortstop, make a nice turn to erase that leadoff base hit.
Get it on the ground with some speed at first base. Surprised a little bit that he didn't try to steal in the first inning, but this is tailor-made right at the second baseman. Got the shortstop coming across. That's Gregorio Petit coming across, and a strong arm to finish it off. That erases that leadoff single.
2 away for Noah Naylor. Naylor is the youngest in this starting lineup. He just turned 17 in February. He's not eligible for the draft until 2018. Off-speed pitch, he's out in front. Of course, Josh, his older brother, was a first-round pick in 2015 with the Miami Marlins. He has since been traded to San Diego. 1-1 pitch inside.
The guys tell us that, hey, don't let that catcher fool you. He's a pretty good athlete. He could probably play anywhere on the diamond if need be. But that's true, isn't it? All the best athletes are behind the plate.
Well, it's the smartest ones, of course.
Okay.
I don't know about the best athletes. But Josh Naylor, he's interesting. I had a chance to visit with him and talk about his catching skills. I said, stay right behind the plate, young man. That's a quick path to the big leagues for sure. Perfect size for a major league catcher. Naylor is listed at 5'11", 190. Stocky, got a good build, and he can catch and throw according to the coaching staff for this junior national team. Rolls over on that one. Nice play at first by Christian Williams, who flips to Ellen Best. That'll do it. Leadoff single and nothing more. When we come back, top of the order, Ezekiel Carrera will lead things off for the Jays. inning, and we'll take a look at the Blue Jays lineup as Ezekiel Carrera is in the leadoff spot today. He'll lead things off for the Jays. It's a split squad lineup today. Carrera's in right field, batting first. Russell Martin is the DH today. He played with the Canadian junior team in '99 and 2001, and you heard Ramesh Madani talk about Russell's reaction to seeing this team once again. Some of the best memories he's had in a baseball uniform. Darwin Barney will bat third. Pierce is in left field. Mike Ullman, 26-year-old from Bradenton, Florida, is behind the plate. Gregorio Petit. Vladimir Guerrero Jr., just 18 years old. His first year in pro ball, hit .271 with 8 homers and 46 RBIs. Let's check out the pitcher now for Team Canada.
They will face Wesley Moore from Surrey, British Columbia. 6'2", 165 pounds. He's committed to Cal State Northridge. He's eligible for the draft, and he's their best pitcher when it comes to pitchability. He can change speeds, doesn't throw very hard, mixes it up. He's got great command, and right now he's got a great feel, and he's an outstanding changeup.
Broken bat dribbler towards second. That's Edward Julian who makes the play. Let's take a look at the rest of the defense for Canada. They've got some good athletes on the field and good speed in the outfield. Lucas Parente is in left field. Cooper Davis, the center fielder, can really fly. Remember, Davis has committed to Vanderbilt University, and right, Clayton Keys, who had a good game against Tampa Bay yesterday. Willow, Hall, Julian, and Bremner around the infield. And behind the plate, Noah Naylor doing the catching for Wesley Moore. That's the defense for the junior national team.
You know, one of the things that they have is athletes on this team, more so than in years past, and one of those athletes is over at first base. Andre Bremner is going to go to the University of Cincinnati. And I ran up to him today and I said, hey, I hear you're going to the University of Cincinnati. That's where I live. You want to live in my basement? You want to hang out? You can hang out at my house. If you ever need anything, give me a call. But he's a good athlete. He can play in the middle of the diamond, but they need him at first base. Take advantage of his athleticism and get his bat in the lineup.
About the same age as your twins.
Yeah, he can hang out with my boys.
This is Russell Martin, the Blue Jays catcher. Today he is the DH, getting some ABs. And we mentioned Russell played for a junior national team in '99 through 2000. And, you know, when you have an opportunity to experience playing against other countries, playing for your country, it's a special memory. And it's certainly a big day for Russell to see some of his former coaches here.
And he's a hero. I mean, if you could have seen him walk over there and the players staring at Russell, knowing where he came from, that he played in the same organization, and you can see, you can just read their minds. Hey, that's going to be me someday. I'm going to play in the big leagues.
Well, Russell didn't get much to hit right there as he takes a 4-pitch walk, and he'll take first base. When you look at the junior national program, and this team since 2001 has produced over 300 selections in the MLB first-year player draft, including first-round picks Adam Lowen, Philippe Aumont, Brett Lawrie, Kellen Deglin, Josh Naylor, and Mike Soroka. Soroka, a pitcher that was drafted in 2015.
That's what I mean. It's the exposure at such a young age against outstanding competition. I'm not taking anything away from the coaching, because the coaching is outstanding. They do a great job of recognizing talented youngsters and then coaching them up and exposing them to great baseball.
Darwin Barney goes after the first pitch. Martin's tagging up, and Cooper Davis gets it back in quickly to keep Russell at first base. So Barney's retired on one pitch, fly ball to center. But you see the growth of baseball in Canada certainly got a big boost in '92 and '93, and you were part of that World Series team. And as the success of the Blue Jays goes, it seems it creates more success around the country.
I can't agree with you any more than that the excitement that the Blue Jays bring throughout all of Canada, youngsters seem to turn to baseball just a little bit more. And again, the one thing that you could notice when you watch these kids in batting practice and you watch them warm up and take their ground balls, there's a lot of athletes out there. At 17 years old, this is a scout's dream right here at a game like this, where you got so much talent on one field. A fan came up to me today and said, "Hey, how come there's so many scouts here early? It's only 10:30 in the morning. Why are all the scouts here?" I said, "Well, take a look out there. Look at all the athletes that they are taking a look at. A lot of them are draft eligible."
Yeah, there are about 75, 80 scouts in the stands today, a lot more than we normally see, but a concentration of good young Canadian draft eligible players, and why not come here? And I bet you they follow them around. They're going to be playing 10 games against all pro teams. Tomorrow they will play against the Orioles in Sarasota.
They had Tampa Bay yesterday. Played really well.
There's a strike to Steve Pearce. It's 3-1. This is a good test for young Wesley Moore. Pearce, he's got the reputation of hitting lefties hard.
And he's in a hitter's count right now, so he's looking for something right down the middle.
Fly ball to center. Cooper Davis is there. Easy inning for Wesley Moore. We've played an inning here in Dunedin. No score.
Across town in Tampa, many of the Blue Jays regulars facing the Yankees. In top of the first, Kendrys Morales had the last 3 days off. RBI double, scoring Devin Travis. The big thing there is Travis actually got on with a double to open things up. Guys, they weren't sure how his knee was going to respond after his first big league spring game. Good start for Devin Travis, good start for Morales, and a good start for the Blue Jays.
Had a chance to run into Devin Travis in the locker room early this morning around 9 o'clock, and I asked him, "Hey, how's the knee feeling today?" Knowing that he did his 5 innings yesterday, he says it feels great. I am really excited about how I came out of that game. Remember, we talked yesterday that the important part of what he's doing is how he feels today, and he says he feels great. That's good news.
That is great news, and everybody is anxious to see him play the rest of the way in the spring and get him ready for opening day. Big part of the offense for sure, and potentially their leadoff hitter.
Looks that way.
Yeah.
He is DHing today and batting leadoff for the Blue Jays, and they're facing the Yankees' #1 starter. It looked like Masahiro Tanaka was on the mound this afternoon.
Clayton Keys. He had a good game yesterday. Had 3 hits and a couple of stolen bases. And Pat, you have really been impressed by Clayton Keys watching him today in the BP session.
I like this guy. And when I heard that the Blue Jays had drafted him last year and did not sign him, I was like, what? Had a chance to watch it. Reminded me, don't get too excited because he's a young kid, but it reminded me of a young Jesse Barfield. I saw Jesse Barfield when he played right here in A-ball, a young player in A-ball, and I played against him in AA. This kid looked like the same type of player. Strong bat, stands straight up. He's going to hit for power. He's got a flat swing. Good looking player.
Clayton is from Calgary. He gets called out on a breaking ball, so that's the first out of the inning. But Clayton has been part of the Okotoks Dogs program.
Throws him the breaking ball, just didn't recognize it early on. I have to correct myself. I hear Adam Warren is pitching for the Yankees today, and he's got a chance to be in that lineup too. So the Blue Jays aren't facing any Swiss cheese pitchers over there in Tampa this afternoon.
Not more and making a bid to be in that rotation for sure. This is Edward Julien from Quebec City in Quebec. He's 17 years old, and he's already made a commitment to Auburn University. It's impressive, some of the colleges that these guys have committed to. Obviously, when you make a commitment like that, you can still sign. Somebody drafts you high enough and pays you enough money, you can sign and start your pro career early. But boy, you talk about an opportunity. Vanderbilt, Texas A&M, Central Arizona, Auburn University, UC Santa Barbara, Cincinnati, Indian River State College. That's pretty impressive. Those are the first 8 colleges that this lineup has committed to.
Those are outstanding, and I mean outstanding baseball programs. Auburn, one of the best in America. We've seen some of the pitchers who we'll see later on. University of Texas. How many professional pitchers have they developed over the years?
Well, and you look at UC Santa Barbara, and everybody's going, well, UC Santa Barbara, that can't be a big baseball school. They're in the Big West. And the Big West features Cal State Fullerton, Long Beach State, UC Riverside, University of Hawaii, Cal Poly, UC Davis, and UC Irvine.
Yeah.
Those are all College World Series candidates.
Big time programs. Jason Dixon was talking about that, who does a great job now with this team. Talking about, again, the athletes that they have here and then the college commitments that they're getting from some big-time college commitments. You mentioned Cincinnati. You know, they just beat the #1 team in the country this past week. The Louisville Cardinals were #1 in the country, and the University of Cincinnati beat them this week. So some big-time colleges.
Yeah, and you know what? I applaud these young players for committing to their college. You know, playing in Canada, obviously you don't get the same amount of opportunities to play baseball during the spring and summer as they do down in the States. So why not go to a college? Why not take advantage of that opportunity to develop your skills further? Plus, get a great education at the same time.
And if you're talented enough, you go down south, you can play year-round if you want to. Pretty good at bat right there from Julien.
Takes ball 4, so he will take first base with 1 out. So that'll bring to the plate Jason Willow. He's one of the youngsters that's committed to UC Santa Barbara. Tell you what, sign me up to go to UC Santa Barbara.
Have you been to that campus? It's gorgeous, isn't it?
It's gorgeous. Spectacular.
Who wouldn't want to play baseball at
right
UC
on the
Santa
beach
Barbara?
in Santa Barbara? Fouled straight back.
I was kidding with some of the kids today that, okay, let's see. If you don't sign a pro contract, or if you don't get drafted, let's see, you can go to UC Santa Barbara, big program, check. Go to a pretty good school, check. Nice looking people there, check. Play baseball for a national team, check. Plan B's not too bad either.
No. And oh, by the way, you get to go on a road trip to Hawaii, play the University of Hawaii. Not too bad. This is Jason Willow. We mentioned he is from Victoria, BC. He's just 17 years old. He's eligible for the 2017 draft. 1-1. Breaking ball in the dirt. Willow made his junior national team debut in October of 2015 in the Fall League. Most of these players on this junior national team have participated in Tournament 12. That's a tournament sponsored by Robbie Alomar, held at Rogers Center late in each summer.
That's where it all starts for these kids. That's what I mean, that they have been together for 2, 3, sometimes 4 years. They bring them together, and what a success the T12 is, isn't it? Robbie and the gang, they do such a great job of finding the talent throughout Canada, bringing them to the Rogers Center, and then developing that talent and showcasing them for some of these schools.
There goes the runner. Ullman's throw is a good one, and just in time. Good tag by Gregorio Petit. Mike Ullman makes a strong throw to second base to throw out Edward Julien for the second out of the inning.
Good time to run right there. Like an off-speed pitch, and Ullman, though, with the strong arms, enough to get him by an eyelash at second base.
Foul back. So we'll do it again. It's a 3-2 count on Jason Willard.
Want to slide right into that base, and as that front foot hits the base, you want to have a little pop-up. Use that as an anchor. Look, that young man slid over the bag.
Ball's hit to left field. First opportunity for Steve Pearce. No problems at all. The walk is erased by a caught stealing. We'll go to the bottom of the second. Still no score here in Dunedin.
'16, '17, and 18 years ago that Russ Martin was on this side of the diamond, a member of Team Canada. And he says his experience in Edmonton at the 2000 World Junior Baseball Championships remains one of the highlights of his career. He said, I remember the energy of it, the intensity. And he said, I got the same nerves as playing a playoff game in the big leagues. He said that was just such a cool experience with all the energy. At those Worlds, Martin and Canada faced Shin Soo-Choo and the Koreans, Joe Mauer and J.J. Hardy of Team USA. And at that time in your life, Martin said, it feels like the World Series.
Absolutely it does. A great opportunity to play in that atmosphere. And I think that's one thing that these younger players, and Russell Martin included, have a chance to experience in that. And that kind of lessens the awe factor once you get to the major leagues. Allman puts a charge in it, but it's well fouled.
Playing in front of some big crowds against some outstanding talent. Again, they're going to have a team that goes down to the instructional league and play against some of the teams there. The Dominican Summer League. Extended. They're going to do some extended trip in April when they come down and play some extended teams.
0-2 pitch upstairs. Extended spring training will be major professional players that are held back. They don't get assigned to a team, so they stay down in Florida to their respective spring training camps and play games. And another high fly ball to left. Parente is back at the wall, right in front of the wall, makes a nice catch with his back up against the left field wall. Bowman gave it a ride, but it ran out of gas on the warning track.
We didn't give up on that ball. Lucas Parente with a nice little smile after that catch. Didn't give up on that ball, just kept drifting back. The ball just kept going and going off the bat of Mike Ullman. And as a player, you want to just get back there as quickly as possible. You can see he didn't give up on that ball, just went back, plucked it out of the air for a nice catch.
Parente's from Burlington. He too played in the tournament 12, of course, played in last year's tournament 12 at Rogers Center. This is Gregorio Petit, the shortstop.
Another changeup. That's his best pitch. The reason that he is starting Wesley Moore is he has the best command. And when Greg Hamilton chose his starter today against the Blue Jays, he wasn't really sure if the big boys, the Josh Donaldson, the Jose Bautistas, the Troy Tulowitzkis, were going to be in the lineup. There's another fly ball to left field. So he wanted to have his best pitcher with the best command, because the last thing he wants is one of those young kids to hit one of the big boys. So he put Wesley Moore out on the mound. He's got the best command. He's his best overall pitcher, and you can see from some of those pitches, pretty good changeup.
Yep, he's throwing the ball over, and that's what you want to see in this atmosphere. So now with 2 outs, we'll get our first look at Vladimir Guerrero Jr. Vladimir Guerrero Jr., just 18 years old. Played his first professional season last year at Bluefield, and the reports are raving. Mature, talented.
Going to come quick.
Yes, he is. Drives this one to left field. That's going to hang up for Parente. Busy inning for the left field. And 3 fly ball outs. Guerrero retired on a fly ball to left. We've played 2 innings. No score.
Hashtag Honda Home Opener to the Blue Jays Twitter or Instagram accounts. Full contest details available at bluejays.com. Meanwhile, early in spring training, Ryan Goins had been hitting the ball hard. Jared Saltalamacchia aboard in the second. Goins goes deep for a 2-run home run. He spent the offseason working with Troy Tulowitzki, made a couple of tweaks to his swing. He said, guys, he's trying to become more of a complete hitter this season.
Well, that's good news for Ryan. For Goins, that's his first home run of the spring. He drives in a pair with a 2-run home run. He's got 7 RBIs this spring.
That's completely fine with me. It's a good looking swing.
Well, and it's interesting too. Ryan is out of options. So that means if he doesn't make this club and they try to send him to the minor league, he'll be exposed to every other major league team in baseball. And for me, got to keep Ryan going.
Yes, yeah, because if he does become exposed, he's going to be gone.
Yeah.
Someone's going to close.
Too good a defender.
Yeah, he's a major league player.
2 balls, no strikes to Dondre Bremner. Bremner is playing at first base, but Pat, that's not his normal position.
No, he's a good athlete, and Greg Hamilton can use him at shortstop, second base, somewhere in the middle of the diamond. But he said, I got to keep his bat in the lineup. He's going to play for me. And right now, the only place that I can use him at first base. He's got good hands. He's got good instincts, good actions as you watch him take ground balls, and he can really swing the bat.
2-2 pitch. Little tapper back to the mound. No problem for Ellen Best. He throws him out, 1 down.
I tell you, it's got to be a joy, doesn't it, for young kids to be able to face professionals, especially your team. You look at the bios, and every one of these players, for the most part, say their favorite team is the Toronto Blue Jays, and here they are getting a chance to play against them.
Absolutely, get a chance to come down here. Some of them have been down here before. 14 of the players on this roster have played against the Blue Jays in the past. They were down here last March 17th when the two clubs met. So 14 of them are experiencing this for a second time. This is Michael Stoveman from Maple Ridge, BC. He takes it upstairs. He plays for the Langley Blaze. Summertime, a left-handed hitter. He's the DH here this afternoon.
Says his favorite player is Chris Davis of the Baltimore Orioles. He looks a little bit like Chris Davis standing in there, doesn't he? Left-handed, power hitter.
18 years old. He too is eligible for the upcoming draft this June. He's laid it up on that back leg looking to do some damage.
A lot like his hero, Chris Davis. Power to all fields.
Stoveman has made a commitment to Indian River State College, junior college here in Florida, and it's produced a lot of good professional ball players, a chance to play a lot of games, and I think that's a great move. The more you play, the better you get. And he puts a stroke on that one and shoots it into left field for Stoveman. A one-out single. Second hit of the afternoon for Team Canada.
Nicely done. Nicely done. You don't have to pull the ball to get base hits. There's a lot of hits going the other way. Ellenbest looked like he tried to throw a sinker down and away, and watching these young kids, not a lot of them try to overcommit and try to yank the ball. They'll hit the ball where it's pitched. That time it was away. Stayed right with it. Good piece of hitting.
This is the left fielder, Lucas Parente. Parente's from Burlington, as we mentioned. He goes to Notre Dame Catholic Secondary School. Stoveman at first base as Ellenbest checks him out. There's a pitch away, and it's 0-2 quickly.
Minor leaguers just aren't built up like some of the counterparts at the major league level. They just got started a couple of weeks ago. So Ellenbest is scheduled to go 3 innings today.
Well, that's a strikeout, 2 outs. That'll bring Cooper Davis to the plate. And we mentioned he committed to Vanderbilt. And how about this tweet from none other than David Price? Congrats to another 6-man. Davis making his decision to play college baseball for Vandy. Wise decision, young man. Of course, David Price, a graduate of Vanderbilt. So that does it. Little tapper to first. Cooper Davis is retired. Canada leaves a runner on. Still no score. we thought we would highlight one of the coaches on Team Canada today, a familiar face, Roberto Alomar. Spent 5 years with the Toronto Blue Jays, hit .307 as a J. He did everything in the field, at the plate, on the bases. Robbie Alomar, of course, the Hall of Famer. Inducted into the Hall of Fame in 2011. A memorable home run against Oakland A's and Dennis Eckersley, and he joins us now as a coach for this junior national team. Robbie, thanks so much for joining us.
Well, thank you guys for inviting me.
Let me tell you got to be extra pleased with these young players you have been associated with going back to Tournament 12.
No, it's great to see them back here in Florida and playing against the Blue Jays. I think it's a great experience, and you know, it's a great time. I think I remember when I was that age. I wish I'd be there playing, but it's an honor for them, and I'm real thankful that the Blue Jays gave this opportunity to these young guys.
You've had a chance, Robbie, to watch these kids grow. They came to your tournament 4 years ago, and a lot of them now are 17, 18 years old, but they started with you when they were 13 and 14.
Yeah, it's a program that we have and a tournament that we have in Toronto. It's more about opportunities for them to be seen by scouts from Major League Baseball and college, and it's about opening eyes through their career. And you know, when we were kids at once, we didn't have these opportunities. So I'm so glad and so grateful that the opportunities are there, and hopefully we can see hopefully one day more Major League players from Canada.
So now you have these kids for a couple of years. We've established that, and I was able to peek in and listen to what you were saying to some of these kids before the game today, and you were talking about respecting the game. Talk a little bit about that, what that means to you.
Well, it's really important, you know, to respect the game, respect your teammates, and respect your coaches. Because that's the way you're going to succeed in this game. And what I mean about respecting the game is about going out there, running hard, appreciate what you do every day, be thankful that you're playing the game that you love playing, and get your best and have some fun.
Robbie, I don't want to single out any one or two players, and everybody on this team is obviously very talented, but you've seen them a lot more than we have. Is there somebody on this team that's really caught your eye as somebody that might progress and play well in college, maybe even make it to the pros?
Well, I hope that all of them can go to college. You know, I'm not going to be biased, but if you have to pick one, maybe Cooper. Cooper has some speed. He's a great outfielder, great defense. He got a good decent arm, and there's some other guys too.
How about, again, we've established that you've seen these kids for 3 or 4 years. Has anybody surprised you, or has anybody developed over the last couple of years where you go like, I didn't think of him a couple of years ago, but now, wow, he has really developed?
Well, there's some guy who had been signed already, and they're gone. They're not here. So, but in the last 4 years, I think Cooper has impressed me. You know, especially he's a small guy, and the kind of powers he has and the kind of speed. I think he impressed me. He has improved a lot in the last 3 years.
Well, you know a lot about catching. Your brother was a pretty good Major League catcher for a long time, and you told me about Noah Naylor, the catcher for Canada. What impresses you about Naylor?
Well, Naylor impressed me about that he knows a lot about this game. He's so young. He's only 17 now, and you know, it seems like it runs in the family. They are a student of the game, and he comes here and he plays hard. He gave his heart. And he wants to be a Major League ball player. So, and that's what these programs are all about. It's about believing in yourself, and hopefully one day they can go out there and play the game the right way and make it to the big league one day.
Can we shift gears just a little bit? Have you had a chance to see the Blue Jays this year? And what's your thoughts on some of the changes that they've made in the offseason?
Well, I think there are some great changes. I love how they're doing things. Mark Shapiro and Ross Haskins have done a great job. I cannot ask for better. I think that, hopefully we can stay healthy, and that's the key of this team winning. If we can stay healthy and the rotation is stay healthy, I think we can go all the way.
Robbie, you're a big fan of good baseball players. Give us your impression of Kendrys Morales, who they signed as a free agent.
I love him. I think it's going to be good for this team. I think he's going to surprise a lot of people. He's a great hitter from both sides, and he's a great team player. And I wish him the best. Hopefully, I can get to see him more, and and hopefully he has a good year for us.
Okay, now put your batting helmet on and tell me how impressed you are with the Blue Jays starting rotation.
Unbelievable. I think we got one of the best starting rotations in baseball. But it's up to them to go out there in the field and do it on the field.
Robbie, thanks so much for joining us, and continued success with the Tournament 12, and everything you're doing for this junior national team is really much appreciated. But all the best, pal.
Thank you, guys.
We'll see you around Rogers Center.
I see you around. Yes.
All right, pal.
Go Blue Jays.
All right, man. That's the great Robbie Alomar, the Hall of Famer, and he's putting in his time with these youngsters on this national team. And Pat, you're right. Today he had them all huddled around down the third base line before the start of their batting practice, talking about some real positive things.
Did you see the kids' eyes? They were glued on them, weren't they?
They were locked on them. Yep.
Wow. Well, and it's a great message too about respecting the game, where you are, and where you're going to go, how far the game is going to take you. But respect it. Play hard. Be a good teammate. It's a great message.
There's Russell Martin. Let me go back and recap the inning. Christian Williams led it off with a double over the left fielder's head. DJ Davis popped up to third base, and then leadoff man Ezekiel Carrero walked. So there's 2 on, 1 out for Russell Martin. Russell takes one down the stairs. Russell was talking to Greg Hamilton and some of the coaches, Adam Stern, who is also a former major leaguer that's coaching on this team. He said, give me a scouting report on some of these pitchers. He said, well, you might want to be out of there before the big guy gets in there at the end of the game. And that's Landon Leach. Now that ball gets away, and
Yeah, a chance to
everybody moves
drive
up.
in the game's first run. Heads up base running by Christian Williams. That was a booming double. He had the lead off the inning the other way.
Christian Williams, 22 years old. He was drafted in 2015. He's playing at first base today. He played in Vancouver last year, played 60 games out west. Let's check in with Arash Madani. Well, we'll get back to Arash here shortly. 3 balls and a strike to Russell Martin.
Yeah, you'll never hear the end of it from the other guys.
Russell takes ball 4 inside, so that'll load the bases with 1 out. All right, let's check in again with Arash.
Well, Buck, you were mentioning just how wide-eyed these Canadian players were around Russ Martin earlier today. He's actually taking them to one of his favorite restaurants in Tampa after the game, catering a meal. He said, I remember what it was like being in those kids' shoes, how cool it was being around the big leaguers. I just want them to be comfortable around me. If they want to pick my brain, if they just want to experience something, give them that. So Martin understands exactly where he came from, and he's taking them to his favorite spot afterwards, too.
How cool is that? These kids are going to have a chance to go out to dinner and have a nice meal on Russ Martin and sit around and talk a little baseball with another Canadian. That's pretty awesome.
You have no idea how far that's going to go for these kids in their lives, just to sit around and do that.
Darwin Barney with a base hit. Williams is in to score. Here comes Carrera, and he's going to score as well. Now they've got Russ Martin hung up. You can't tag him out. He's taking you to dinner.
Tag him easy.
Come on. So Martin is tagged out in the rundown. Blue Jays get Chu on the Barney base hit to left field, and they have a 2-0 lead. Russell Martin is the second out of the inning.
Walks coming back to haunt young Wesley Moore. A couple of walks. He's not known for walking players. He's got a very good command. When Barney punches that ball into the outfield, executed perfectly by the junior national team. You concede the second run, you cut the ball off, and you make the quick rundown to get the second out.
Good job by the infielders there. Steve Pierce jumps on the first pitch and pops it out of play down the left field line. Pierce flied out to center field his first time up. Barney at second base. Darwin Barney picks up a couple of RBIs with a base hit.
Good changeup. See Steve Pierce way out in front of that ball.
Oh, 2 pitch. Pierce flares it into right field. That's going to be caught by the right fielder Clayton Keys. And the inning is over, but the Blue Jays on a Darwin Barney 2-run single take a 2-0 lead over Team Canada.
So much attention on Vladimir Guerrero Jr. and in terms of his progress, this is promising news. Vlad Jr. worked with his dad all season on hitting, just trying to get the swing down consistently, and his father reiterating often to him, it's not a 2-day process here, son. It takes a lot of work, a lot of time. Now, Jr. has made the transition defensively to third base over the past year. Through an interpreter, he told us today he's more comfortable there, it feels more natural. And here's another one for you guys. To prepare for games, Vlad Jr. listens to Christian music. He says that just gets him more relaxed.
Well, he's a pretty special young man. He played his first season of professional baseball at 17 years old. His father, Vladimir Guerrero Sr., did not start his pro career until he was 19. But Vladdy, of course, the senior, played in the Montreal system, played in the Gulf Coast League his first year, and he had .314 his first season.
I think the Blue Jays are going to do the right thing with him, too. From what I understand, they're going to send him out to a full season Lansing this year and let him play a full season of A-ball at 18 years old. He'll still be probably the youngest player in that league, but he's going to get out of extended and go out and play a full season, which is a good thing. Here's another youngster from the Blue Jays past draft. This is Zach Jackson. He was a college reliever from Arkansas. He was a third-round pick just last season. Big guy, 6'4". From Tulsa, Oklahoma. You can see he's got a lot of moving parts in that windup and in that delivery, but he's got a lot of strikeouts in that big right arm.
Zach Jackson started in the Gulf Coast League, then he went out to Vancouver. Many of these people we're going to see, these young pitchers, are pitchers that pitched in Vancouver last year. He pitched in 13 games for Vancouver. Big guy, 6'4", 215. Third-round pick, as Pat mentioned. Tell you what, WBC has extended spring training, but what an opportunity it's been for some minor leaguers to come over and fill in for some of the guys that have been away from camp because of the WBC.
You read about them, you see how they're drafted, and you read the scouting reports, and you ask questions, and you talk to people, but there's nothing like putting your eyes on a kid for the first time and watching some of these youngsters that you've heard a lot about, Zach Jackson being one of them, third-round draft pick. He's got a really good chance of getting to the big leagues.
Well, I tell you what, he throws his arms and legs at you, coming at you at 6'4", throws it hard. Last pitch 93 miles an hour, and it's not a comfortable at bat, I would think.
Deception. Deception. That's what you see when he's got that high glove with that left arm, high leg kick. His wipeout pitch is a slider.
Ground ball up the middle. Petit has it in plenty of time as Adam Hall grounds out. Well, Noah Naylor's the batter, and we thought we would highlight his older brother, Josh Naylor, who is a former #1 pick. Josh was a big power hitter. He was drafted in the first round by the Marlins, 12th overall pick, and he put up big minor league numbers. 13 home runs last year. He finished up in the California State League. He was traded from Miami to San Diego in the Andrew Cashner deal. So it gives you an idea just how highly regarded he is to be traded after his first year with his original organization.
Welcome to professional baseball, you know, getting traded, but that's the way it is. Had a chance to watch him take batting practice, Noah's older brother Josh, during the WBC workout over at the Bobby Maddock complex earlier this month, and I was very impressed with his bat speed, the way the ball came off his bat, and he almost, and I say almost, took my car window out with a long home run. I was parked down the right field line, and he almost took it out with one of those long drives. And his brother looks the same. They have the same type of talent and same type of swing.
Josh Naylor is 19 years old. Noah just turned 17 in February.
Somebody in the Naylor family is doing a good job in their mechanics of hitting.
1-2. Tried to check his swing, and he went around, according to third base umpire. So 2 quick outs here in the fourth, as Zach Jackson has been impressive.
Again, he struck out his share in his limited time this year. Zach Jackson down in the minor leagues, and his put-away pitch is a good breaking ball. He only threw 17 innings in Vancouver, but struck out 23 batters. They only hit 206 against him, and you can see why.
Well, the Vancouver team had some pretty top prospects. T.J. Zoich, the big right-handed pitcher, he pitched out there as well in Vancouver. Zach Jackson was there. The pitching age in Vancouver averaged 21.4 years old. A lot of young prospects there, and they'll go out there and get their professional career off and running.
Craig Biggio's boy was out there for a little bit before he was moved up.
Kevin Biggio hit 282 in Vancouver with 21 RBIs. Blue Jays have sent a lot of minor leaguers over here today, and we'll probably see some of those. Bo Bichette, a shortstop, the son of Dante Bichette, great slugger for the Colorado Rockies, and Bo Bichette's a pretty impressive young player as well. 1-2 pitch, fly ball to center field. DJ Davis is on the run, and that ball is off the wall. Clayton Keys, Pat Tabler has picked him out as a power hitter, and he put a charge in that one.
Pretty good approach with 2 strikes, and you can see the natural power. Again, the wind is blowing in from right field, and he hit it through the wind with 2 strikes. He's able to go down and get that ball, and watch the finish as he finishes off that swing, a high finish, and that helps you create backspin and drive the ball out to right field. Good looking young hitter who's only going to get bigger and stronger. That's a big league swing.
A big league swing. He got out of the box in good shape and cruises into second with a 2-out double. Remember, Clayton Keys, who hit that double, was drafted by the Blue Jays in the 17th round. They couldn't work it out, but you can bet he's going to be drafted this spring, even though he's already committed to Central Arizona College.
Well, if you're the Blue Jays, you got your first look here. Mark Shapiro was around the batting cage this morning watching Clayton Keys swing the bat. If they have another chance at drafting him, I hope they get him. Good looking player.
You see a young player that's got power to the opposite field, it really gets your attention. This is Edward Julian. He walked and was caught stealing his only time up. What an exciting time for these young players to come down here in spring. Enjoy the good weather and work out as a team. Greg Hamilton, the manager of this team, suggesting they work out about 2.5 hours in the morning before their games. They play their games at 1 o'clock, so they have a full day. But tonight, they're going to have a treat. Russell Martin's going to take them all to dinner.
I'm sure we'll see some pictures of that, don't you think? Somewhere on social media?
And you know, Russell loves good food, and they're going to be eating at a fine restaurant. You can bet on that. Look out. That's ball 4 inside. That's a 2-out walk to Edward Julian, and that'll bring Jason Willow to the plate.
Very patient hitter at the plate. That's the second time that he has walked this afternoon. Zach Jackson gets the first 2 batters very quickly. Now he's struggling to get that final out.
We were told about this team offensively. They have high expectations of this team as a ball club to hit. They've got 3 hits. They've walked twice already today. And Clayton Keys with that 2-out double to the opposite field, showing some power.
So far, not one 1-2-3 inning. Good at bats. I mean, watch the approach of some of these young hitters at the plate. Very good approach where they're selective. They're not going to swing at bad pitches. And they can go the other way. If you throw the ball away, they can shoot the ball the other way. For such young players, a very experienced approach at the plate.
There's a wild pitch, and the runners will move up. So now the tying run is at second base. The ball got away from Mike Goldman, and you have to remember too, this is the second game these kids have played.
Yeah.
They just got down here a couple days ago. They played yesterday, and now this is game 2 of their schedule. Breaking ball, and Willow strikes out. That'll end the inning. The Canadians strand a pair. We'll go to the bottom of the 4th. The Blue Jays have a 2-0 lead over the Canadian junior national team.
Donate your old car to Jay's Care. You'll receive a tax receipt for the full auction sale and help provide more than 60,000 kids an opportunity to play baseball and develop essential life skills. Visit jayscare.com/cars today. Now, this may take a little while to get used to. Matt Holliday now in the pinstripes. 3-2 Blue Jays, 3rd inning. Holliday with the single to score Jacoby Ellsbury. back and forth they go over in Tampa, tied now at 3, guys.
Well, Kevin Pillar made a strong throw there and just missed throwing out that runner into play. But Matt Holliday, you know, the Yankees, when they bring somebody in, they bring in character guys. And Holliday's another one of those guys, a veteran player, and they've got some young guys coming through their system. So they want those younger players to be exposed to first-class people, and Matt Holliday's one of those. Gardner, Ellsbury, Holliday, Bird, Castro, and Greg Bird has been announced as the first baseman. This is high and deep to left. Parente again up against the wall. That's off the top of the wall. Stays in the ballpark. Ullman is headed for third. Here's the throw to third. It is not in time, and big Mike Ullman ends up at third base with a triple off the wall and left.
Look at the big man running. Got around those bases very quickly. The ball's right in front of him. Another one of those high drives like he hit his last time up. High arching ball to left field, and he's not taking anything for granted. He is busting it out of the box very quickly, and when it hits off the top of the wall, just barely missing going out of the ballpark. Ullman makes it easily, really without a throw to third base.
Ullman with 12 career triples in the minor leagues. Run a little bit. He's played 8 seasons in the minor leagues between the Orioles, the Cardinals, and now the Blue Jays. He spent last season between AA and AAA in the Cardinals system. Gregorio Petit. Petit coming from the Angels. Veteran player that gives the Blue Jays a little more depth, and he might be ticketed to play shortstop at Syracuse. He's had time in the big leagues with the Oakland Athletics, Houston Astros, the Yankees in 2015, and last year he got into 89 games with the Angels. He hit .245. Pops this one up, center of the infield. Adam Hall, the shortstop, takes charge and makes the catch. Those are the kind of at-bats that you want to get back as spring training's winding down. The opportunity to drive in a run with nobody out.
A lefty on the mound. You can see Wesley Morris getting a little tired. This is his 4th inning. The triple, and then he fell behind. So Gregorio Petit just a little bit too excited there, so maybe swung out a ball.
Now the infield will come in. Vladimir Guerrero off the end of the bat. They're going to check the runner back to third, and Guerrero is out on 1 pitch. Over anxious there, had a chance to drive in a run. The changeup got him, hit it off the end of the bat.
That was the changeup. That's his go-to pitch, his out pitch, and he took advantage of the excitement from young Vladimir Guerrero. DeAndre Bremner is going to show off his athleticism over there at first base. Remember, he can play shortstop, he can play second base, he ranges to his right. Ball off the end of the bat, ranges to his right, and picked that nicely.
And what he did too, Bremner, once he started toward first, he peeked back over his shoulder just in case Ullman was going to break for home. So now there are 2 outs. Christian Williams, he doubled and scored in the 3rd inning.
So no fastballs for you. Slider and a couple of change-ups.
Ball in the dirt. Naylor does a good job to keep it in front of him. Ground ball. Another easy play for Bremner. Well, a leadoff triple gets stranded at third base. Nice job by Wesley Moore, the young lefty. It's still a 2-0 Blue Jays lead.
Their last 9 games, Austin Matthews on a 4-game point streak as he chases the Calder, and the Leafs in a great position to earn a playoff spot. Toronto, Buffalo tonight on Hockey Night in Canada. Now, Steve Pearce, here's the good news there on his elbow rehab post-surgery. He's throwing at 180 feet, pain-free. Pearce told me he's still a little sore after as he gets used to the long distances, but nothing like last year. Then Pearce said the pain was unbearable. Pearce's goal is to be ready to play left field opening day, but is trying to stay patient with the process. Right now, he said, I'm day to day. I go off that. The Blue Jays have plans for Pearce, not only in left, but to use him at first base in spots, which we saw yesterday, guys. And that 3-6-3 double play executed with Troy Tulowitzki showed absolutely no rust in the execution.
No, he sure didn't, Tarash, and he has played well on the infield. In fact, second base might be his best position defensively, but he hasn't played a lot in left. He's played a total of 99 starts in left field. The most he's ever played in one season in left is 2015 when he started 34 games for the Orioles. So it's an interesting test out there for Steve Pearce.
Well, whatever, you know, wherever he ends up playing, he's here because of his bat. And he's going to make his contributions as a bat. But in a pinch, and there are games, Buck, you see it as you go through the season, that you might need a guy at second base, a couple of innings here and there. We've seen Russell Martin play second base in a pinch late in a ball game when you're starting to make all your changes. Pearce can do that. He can play multiple positions, and he can swing the bat.
Pearce has started at first, second, third, left, right. He has played all over the place.
As a manager, you get into those games and, you know, you're pulling this guy here and you're pinch running for that guy and you're pinch hitting this guy over here. It's nice to have a guy who can play multiple positions if you need him for a couple of innings.
Good take on that breaking ball. This is Andre Bremner. He grounded out to the pitcher his first time up. Bremner, as we mentioned earlier, a middle infielder, playing at first base, and he is athletic. There's a foul tip as Ullman hangs onto it for the strikeout.
You know, Buck, when they come down here, these young kids, they're always have an opportunity to be taught something. You're not just playing the game and then you're going home. In between innings, you've got Greg Hamilton. He's working with his young players. He's talking about situations. He's talking about hitters, everything like that. Positioning, where to throw the ball. It's a great teaching moment whenever anything happens on a baseball field in between innings.
You talk about a guy that's got a perfect temperament to coach this junior national team and manage it. That's Greg Hamilton. And you and I got a chance to meet him for the first time in 1996, of all places, in Montpellier, France.
We go way back, don't we?
We were on a tour over there putting on some baseball clinics, and Pat and I, along with Pat Gillick, we were there with Wayne Morgan and
Mambo.
Bill Mamboquette, the late Bill Mamboquette, and it was a situation where Greg was coaching in the south of France. Pretty good duty.
Yeah, and then here he is running the Canadian national teams. Can't believe it's been 21 years.
We got a chance to meet Greg and his wife Sonia over there, and they were kind enough to take us over to Saint-Tropez from Montpellier. We drove over there and did a little tour and did some fine dining and had a good afternoon, a good chance to get to know them a little bit.
Where else did we go? We went to Amsterdam, didn't we? We were trying out a couple of kids who are cricket players.
Yeah, that was in Amsterdam. That's right.
Remember that?
There's a liner into the alley in left field. Pearce comes over, cuts it off, gets it back in. Michael Stoveman of Maple Ridge, BC, gets himself his second hit of the afternoon. Both of them going to left.
Nicely done. Another piece of nice hitting. Didn't try and do too much with that. Served it the other way.
Yeah, we got to finish up with that story about the cricketers. We had a couple of cricketers we trained, and Pat Gillick brought them into a workout, and they worked out with us. There's a look at that swing by Stoveman. But it was interesting. They were fielding ground balls indoors. It was a wintertime clinic. It was indoors. They were fielding ground balls, and they had gloves on. And neither one of them was very good. And Pat Gillick, he's so aware of everything. He said, hey, take the gloves off. Sure enough, they fielded it barehanded, and they did a great job with it.
we were testing to see if they can become baseball players. I remember throwing balls to them in the batting cage. And if you're familiar with cricket, the swing is more underhand, an underhand type of swing. And they were grabbing the bat and they were trying to swing it like a cricket.
Yeah.
What, I don't even know, do you call it a mallet? Cricket
bat, I think.
And
big flat thing, heavy as hell.
But you and me and Greg, that was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
But isn't that Pat Gillick kind of a hit of the curb?
Always looking for some baseball player somewhere.
Yeah.
He signed Jose Pet from Brazil.
Never thought, Buck, that I would spend an afternoon with you in Amsterdam trying out cricket players to see if they can play baseball. That was something on my list of things to do. I never thought I'd do it.
This is the left fielder, Lucas Parente. Lucas struck out his only time up back in the third inning. 2-0 Blue Jays. We're in the top of the fifth. Blue Jays taking on the Baseball Canada Junior National Team. 18 and under players getting a chance to play baseball early in their season. Upstairs, it's a full count now. Zach Jackson, he has struck out 3 in an inning and a third. Take a look at this mighty swing.
That's how you swing at a 3-1 pitch right there. 3-1, you're going to get a fastball. Let it go.
There goes the runner. It's hit into right. Carrera has a beat on. They decoyed the runner at second. And Darwin Barney and Petit got that base runner. Michael Stoveman, he didn't locate the ball. He's doubled up on the fly ball to right, and that'll end the top half of the fifth. We are pleased to be joined now by Greg Hamilton, who's been the director of the national team and the head coach of the junior national team since 1998. And Greg, a minute ago, Pat and I were reminiscing about 1996 when the three of us were together in Montpellier, France.
It's a small baseball world, isn't it?
How about that? That was quite a while ago, but certainly we have to commend you on your work with this junior national team and your work with the national team as well. But talk about how things have progressed in your mind as you've seen this program grow over the years.
Well, experiences like this allow us to grow and progress. I mean, it's a great opportunity. Obviously, as you well know, the speed of the game is what challenges players as they move up, and having an opportunity to play pro players in a pro environment, and the kids, they learn if they make pitches and they simplify the game, they can have some success, and it's realistic to dream.
Take us back, Greg. How did it all get started with you in the national team?
For me, it was full-time in '98. I was involved in the earlier years in '92. Would have been my first year, but '98 in a full-time capacity where they went to a full-time head coach and director of national teams. And for us, it was at that time an opportunity to look at look at the overall program, and obviously coming from a cold weather country, we decided that we had to invest in our youth program and get kids young and expose them to quality competition if we were going to develop players.
Greg, you had an opportunity to go to Princeton and learn a little bit more about baseball, and you even played a little hockey there at Princeton as well. But how did that give you a foundation for the ability to coach these young players? Because not everybody is blessed with the ability to pass on their experience as a coach or a manager.
I had an opportunity as a 1 year out of college, finished playing, and obviously it didn't move forward in the game, but enjoyed my experience as a player, and then had an opportunity to get into coaching right away. And as an assistant recruiting coordinator, you kind of drove the bus, and for me it was an opportunity to work long hours and learn from people, learn the game, and I was passionate about it and had a great entry-level opportunity, and just took it and ran from there.
And you've taken that right into this program here. What are some of the goals that you want to accomplish with this team?
I mean, for us, it's 95% development. We're obviously accountable to certainly Sport Canada, our major funding partner, the Canadian Olympic Committee, when it comes to World Championship tournaments. For us, we've got 4 main elements: Fall Instruction League program for 2 weeks in Florida, this particular 2-week program in Florida, and we'll come back in April and go another 2 weeks in an extended program at Disney, and then down to the Dominican Summer League. And for us, it's 95% of the year is development. Get young kids in, get them in early, try to culture them to the game, get them to understand the things that they need to do to be successful in college baseball, and hopefully one day in professional baseball.
Greg, what is the process to get prepared for the World Championship, the Junior Championships held in Thunder Bay later on this summer?
This is a big part of it. This is kind of the front end, and again, we'll come back about another 3 weeks down to Disney and play an extended pro schedule, and down to the Dominican, where they get out of their comfort zone and have to play 18 innings every second day against Dominican Academy teams. And you just kind of steal them a little bit to the competitive piece, and to digging down deep and handling obviously the adversity of the game, which young people tend to struggle with, especially the hitting piece. And for us, culture them to the speed of the game, and really the World Junior Championships, the only thing that changes is the intensity level that you got to play day in and day out, and it's playoff baseball.
Well, you can tell the story better than I can. This has been a process, hasn't it, as you try to pick the junior, get ready for the junior nationals?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's it kind of breaks your heart in a certain context, because as I say, it's development, a big part of what we do, and ultimately you got to pick 20 players at the end of that cycle. And it's some of the kids are there for a year and a half, and obviously dream about representing their country in a world tournament, especially when it's at home. So you never feel good about having to make immediate decisions in terms of the best productive 20, and sometimes that's not necessarily going to be the the best players down the road, but it's the guys that are most advanced and most capable come September for us.
Greg, tell us about your new pitcher into the ball game, William Sierra.
He's got a real nice loose arm, real clean arm. It's he'll be 88 to 91 when he's good. He tends to get in a hurry sometimes and try to overdo it, but again, that's part of the process. I'm sure he'll be amped up here, and great experience, great opportunity to kind of hopefully slow things down a little bit and learn.
He was a draft pick, wasn't he, of the Mets?
Yeah, he was last year. It's a real clean, loose arm, and you can see why they like him. Just need a little bit more seasoning, a little more time. I'm glad he kind of came back for another year. And the nice part is we can give him really a professional schedule without the clock starting, and gives him another year underneath his belt. And we'll see what happens in June, whether he goes the collegiate way or whether he enters professional baseball.
Greg, you obviously have a good feel for where these kids are in their careers. Give us your opinion of your young catcher, Noah Naylor. Just turned 17.
Yeah, he's got a chance to be special. He, we talk a lot about slowing the game down with the kids, and he's got a real, innate ability to do that. He catches with balance and ease. He handles pitchers well. It receives the ball quietly, and the bat is, in the same sort of nature as his brother. Some of them are born to hit, and he was kind of born to hit. He really got good hands as a hitter. He handles the ballpark from gap to gap, and there's some power. There's definitely going to be power as he becomes a man as opposed to a young man. But he's got a bright future.
He's a pretty good athlete. Do you see him staying as a catcher?
I think so, simply because he can catch. He's it's a left-handed bat, and obviously not a lot of those. The body kind of fits the position. I don't know if he runs well enough that you're going to do the Craig Biggio type thing with him, where you're going to really want to take advantage of that. But I think he can stay behind there. Obviously, he's got to polish some things up, and there's a learning curve still. But a left-handed hitting catcher that can catch, and I think they're obviously a premium.
They sure are a premium, and I would encourage him to stay right where he is behind the plate, because he's got the perfect build for a catcher for the long haul. And you know, the guy on deck for the Blue Jays right now is a good example of it. And you know, you've been around this for a long time. And Russell Martin, what's he mean to this organization? I know he's going to take you guys to dinner tonight. That's a pretty good treat.
Yeah, he means a tremendous amount. And again, that's all part of it, right? I mean, these kids, you know, understanding that dinner tonight is you know, from Russell, and Russell cares and he stays connected. And you know, we're very fortunate that our alumni care deeply, and he's a huge part of who we are as a program. He played here as a youngster, and you know, the fact that he stays connected and cares makes a huge difference for us.
Well, Greg, we can't thank you enough for everything you do for the young players across Canada, and we want to thank you for your time today and continued success, and good luck on this trip, man.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it, guys.
Great having you. Thank you. That's Greg Hamilton, the manager of this junior national team, and giving us his thoughts about some of these young players and the impact of Russell Martin as well. You speaks volumes for what Russell thinks of this program, doesn't it?
You hit it on the nail on the head with his temperament, coaching. These are kids. Yeah. These are kids. They're 16, 17-year-old, 18-year-old kids. And they're not going to be perfect, and they're going to make mistakes, and there's always teaching times that you have to work with these kids, these moments that you have to put the time in. He does a great job. Very impressed with his baseball knowledge and his temperament with these kids.
There's a pinch runner at first base taking over for Ezekiel Carrera. It's Lane Thomas pinch running at first. DJ Davis with a couple of stolen bases in the inning. He walked, stole second, and stole third. Russell Martin with an 0-2 count, chance to drive in a run and expand the Blue Jays lead. Breaking ball down in the dirt. Yeah, I think the one thing that, you know, we have known Greg Hamilton for a long time, and his demeanor is perfect for these kids. I mean, these guys, you know, they all think they're going to be big leaguers, and they all think that they're going to get 6 hits every day they play, and it's just not going to be the case. There goes the runner, and he's going to go in second sliding without a throw.
Well, knowing going in that there's going to be mistakes, and it's going to be tough because he's challenging these young kids. That's what I like. He's challenging them against professional players. And again, they've been inside all winter long.
Yeah.
Here's their first taste of putting the spikes on and playing on dirt and playing under the sun.
Russell Martin hits this deep to right field. Keys is back. He makes the catch, slams up against the wall. This could be 2 runs. DJ Davis is coming in, but they stop Lane Thomas at third as Russell Martin picks up a sacrifice fly deep to right center. And the Blue Jays have a 3-0 lead.
Russell got the pitch that he was looking for, something up and out over the plate. Looked like it might have been an off-speed pitch from William Sierra, and Russell stayed right with it. Didn't try and do too much. He'll get credited for a sacrifice fly, but that could have been a double and 2 RBIs if not for that great catch by Keys and Wright.
Infield is drawn in for Darwin Barney, and the pitch is up and in. 3-0 Blue Jays, and they have been out hit by Team Canada 4-3, but they have the lead. Barney drove in 2 runs with a RB 2-run single back in the third. We mentioned the teaching moments, the opportunities that Greg Hamilton and his coaching staff have with these young players, and there'll be plenty of discussions, you can bet. On the bus ride, there's a base hit to right. Darwin Barney stays back and drives in. Lane Thomas from third.
Well, you're right. It doesn't stop when the game is over. You still can teach. You can still talk about it before, during, and after a ball game. Darwin Barney, runner at third base, less than 2 outs, the infield in. All you're trying to do is get something that you can handle and get into the outfield. Blue Jays practice that every single day, that they have the infield in, a runner on third base. Darwin Barney comes up with another RBI hit.
Blue Jays continue to take the veterans out. Yeltsin Godino is taking over for Darwin Barney at first. He is a shortstop that's come in as a pinch runner. Steve Pearce, the fielder, has flied out twice, once to center, once to right. Blue Jays have a split squad game today. The other team is playing against the Yankees over in Tampa. Tomorrow they'll have another split squad day. Orioles will be here at Dunedin. We'll have that game for you. There's a base hit to center for Steve Pearce. Godino stops at second base.
And we will have that game for you against the Orioles.
We will have the Orioles game here. The split squad game will go to Lakeland to take on the Tigers. Late for a split squad weekend, that's for sure. That's why we're seeing a lot of minor leaguers here, and Steve Pearce will probably end up his day with a single. He is 1 for 3 now, and he's been lifted in favor of a pinch runner.
You know, that's the beauty, I think, of this year's spring training is the Blue Jays brass, front office, coaches, managers. We've had a chance to see a lot of minor league players that the Blue Jays have to feature. With the WBC, they lost a couple of players. They played their share of split double headers. But every day we see 4, 5, 6 minor leaguers come over here who are not on the 40-man roster and show what they can do. How about Shane Opitz the other day?
Yesterday, a couple of good defensive plays to end the game. He had a home run to win a game. He's had quite a spring.
Yeah, you read about these guys and you hear about them and you talk to other people about them, but then you get a chance to see him. And he made 2 plays yesterday that looked a lot like number 12, who's sitting over in that Canadian National Juniors dugout over there, Robbie Alomar, one to his left and one to his right. Couldn't do it any better. One of them was the game winner. Finished off the game.
Yeah, it's been a great spring for everybody involved. Just a chance for even the Major League coaching staff to put a face to a name. You see a guy in the stat sheet, you go, oh, this guy's having a pretty good year. And now he comes over and you can see him firsthand. You can relate to who that is. I remember when John Farrell was managing the Blue Jays and Yan Gomes came over to camp. And he walked in the first time. He goes, that's Yan Gomes? He said, he's totally different than I had in my mind. He said, I've been tracking him in the minor leagues. And he was backing up in Double-A as a backup catcher to Travis d'Ormeau. And he came into camp and he really opened a lot of eyes just because he got a couple of extra opportunities to play in games like this.
Just being a guy who was here, and you know, you read about a guy and you look at his stats and you put a mental picture in your mind of who this guy is, and then he rolls into camp and you're like, hey, who are you? You know, well, I'm that guy. And he can play.
Yeah.
That same spring training, I remember John saying, why can't Brett Laurie be our opening day third base? Remember the spring he had? It was outstanding. He was ticketed to go back to the minor leagues, and he kept saying, why can't he?
Yeah. Just let your eyes tell you where he should play. And there's ball 4 on big Mike Ullman, who tripled his last time up. Another walk, and that has been a problem for this young pitching staff.
That one buzzes Mike Ullman up and in. Got a good looking arm. You can see why the Mets drafted him. Got a good arm and a good slider, according to my scouting report. He's got a pretty good slider. Nice, easy arm action. Greg Hamilton talked about that, where the ball comes out of his hand very easily.
He's from Montreal. He's 17 years old. He'll turn 18 in August, and he has made a verbal commitment to Chipola Junior College. Russell Martin and Jose Bautista both went to Chipola, as did Adam Lowen. Well, there's quite a Canadian connection to that North Florida junior college program that's produced an awful lot of good players.
Get down here and just play. Just play year-round if you have to.
You know, and a lot of youngsters make the mistake, and my son kind of got caught up in it, choosing a name over an opportunity to play. You go to Stanford and you say, yeah, I played at Stanford. Well, how much did you play? Well, I didn't play very much, but I was on the baseball team. Well, what good does that do you?
It's all about playing time, isn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, if you're going to make yourself better, go to a place, a school where you're going to play.
Absolutely.
And if it's Florida, you got an outstanding chance to play year-round.
Junior college baseball is pretty good. Florida, Texas, California, Oklahoma's got great junior college program. Up the middle, that's a base hit for Petit. 1 run is in. Here's the throw to the plate from the center fielder. Not in time as the second run comes in to score. A 2-run single for Gregorio Petit, and he's going to be done for the afternoon as the Blue Jays have put up 4 runs here in this inning.
Slider that hangs out over the plate. That's his #1 pitch. It's a good one, too. But he just makes a mistake in leaving out over the plate. And Petit, who's got some big league service time, knows what to do with a pitch like that.
Pinch runner at first is Bo Bichette. Dante Bichette's son, and we'll talk more about him as this game goes along. 1 out. Here is Vladdy Guerrero Jr. And for more on Russell Martin and Chipola, let's check in with Arash Madani.
Well, yeah, Buck, before Martin actually got to Chipola at the World Junior Championships we were talking about in 2000, he was a little upset when he didn't win the All-World Third Baseman Award. So after he was done with the junior program, he goes down to California. And what happens? The same Australian who beat him out for the All-World Third Baseman was the starting third baseman ahead of Russ. Russ said, why is this guy following me? Everywhere I go, he's got the starting job ahead of me. Then Russ finally won it. And the last time Russ heard about him was when that guy ended up going viral because of something he did in bowling. So Russ may not have won the battle, but he certainly won the war.
Yeah. There's a high fly ball left that's going to stay in the ballpark as Rente gets over and makes the catch. Vladdy Guerrero flies out. He's 0 for 3.
Well, you can see why the scouts and the organization are really high on Vladimir Guerrero. Again, just 18 years old. Got a quick bat. Don't know if he's going to
first year at 17.
Yeah, and he's going to play a full year.
Yeah.
At 18, he's advanced as a baseball player. But don't know if he's going to stay at third base. Likes third base. Looks like he can handle it.
Connor Panis grounds out to the second baseman. That ends the inning. But the Blue Jays score 4 runs. They send 9 men to the plate and take advantage of 3 base on balls.
Well, Cristiano Ronaldo and the Euro 2016 champion Portugal side are taking part in the European World Cup qualifiers today on Sportsnet 360. Portugal-Hungary today at 3:30 p.m. Eastern Time. Meanwhile, Jared Saltalamacchia got a lot of work in early and throughout spring training. Today against the Yankees, home run number 3 of spring. That puts the Blue Jays up 4-3 in the 4th inning over in Tampa, guys.
Well, that's great news, and certainly having Saltalamacchia to split time with Russell Martin behind the plate is going to take a load off Russell Martin's legs and keep him fresh deep into the season.
That was a good pickup for the Blue Jays, and we can talk about a little bit more of that as the season goes along. But first of all, Nick Hartman will become the 3rd pitcher this afternoon for the Blue Jays. He too was a draft pick just last season out of Old Dominion. He was picked in the 9th round by the Blue Jays, and he too was sent to the Vancouver Canadians. Mostly a reliever, 19 games, all in relief. He had 4 saves and 4 save opportunities. Hartman's got a pretty good changeup. He was 2-2 with an ERA of 3 last year in Vancouver.
Hartman drafted out of Old Dominion, and it's produced a couple of pretty good pitchers. One by the name of Justin Verlander, who is all right. Verlander has played 12 years with the Tigers. New catcher Mike Reeves into the ball game, taking over for Mike Olman, who had a good day. He had a triple while he was in the ball game. We are in the 6-0 Blue Jays. As Connor Davis with a bunt and a throw to first just in time. New first baseman came on as a pinch hitter. Connor Panis is now playing at first base. Cooper can really run, and that's one of his real strong suits. Dropped the bunt down, just hit it right back to the pitcher.
He was telling me today one of his favorite players is Rajay Davis. He used to go to the Rogers Center and like to watch him play, and really enjoyed his element of speed. Of course, Rajay's still doing it now. He's going to do it with the Oakland A's, but similar type of player, excitement, using the speed.
There's a shot to the first baseman off the bat of Adam Hall. Hall has hit the ball hard a couple of times, but nothing to show for it. This time he lines out to the first baseman. 2 quick outs for the pitcher, Nick Hartman. Hartman just 22 years old. As Pat mentioned, he played in Vancouver, got into 19 games, finished up 13 of those games, and had 4 saves. Vancouver, of course, in the Northwest League, the short season league. Have a pinch hitter now, Victor Cerny from Winnipeg. He's a catcher, batting for Noah Naylor.
Here come the changes.
Yep.
Get ready, get your scorecard.
Greg Hamilton told us, gave us a little heads up. Hey, I'm going to try to get everybody in the game.
And
that's good for the players, bad for the scorebook.
Bad for the scorekeepers who are trying to do the game. He said around the 6th inning, I'm going to start making some of my changes. So get your white out.
We mentioned Cerny from Winnipeg, Vauxhall High School. Back up the middle, off the glove, maybe off the hand of the pitcher. Look at that arm. Oh my. Vladimir Guerrero Jr. fired a seed across the diamond after the deflected ball went in his direction. Good play by the young 3rd baseman to end the inning. Vladimir Guerrero getting a chance to play here in a big league spring training game makes a terrific defensive play.
Well, I commented, I don't know if he's going to stay at third base, but after we saw this play by him to go over there, alertly grabbed the ball with his bare hand and then showed off a pretty good arm, much like his father's arm. Quick, accurate, on a line across the infield. Vladimir Guerrero flashing some tools this afternoon.
I tell you what, you watch him play for a little while, and it's hard to believe he's 18 years old. He's got a presence about him already. And in talking to Dennis Holmberg, the manager of Bluefield last year where he played, he said, this kid is well advanced, and he's not going to be in the minor leagues too long. But you're right, he's going to start out probably at AA in the Midwest League at Lansing. I mean, A-ball in Lansing.
In A-ball, low
Yep.
A-ball, so they can play him in a full season, so he doesn't have to come to extend it for a couple of months. William Undershoe, you got a quick glance of him. He will be the third pitcher for the Canadian team.
This ball is slicing down the left field line. That's a fair ball. As DJ Davis ends up at second base, he can really run, and he coasts into second with a leadoff double.
He walked his last time up and then had a couple of stolen bases. He can really run. A former first-round draft pick. I believe he was drafted ahead of Marcus Stroman the year he was drafted. Blue Jays had 2 draft picks that year. DJ Davis was first, and then Marcus Stroman was after him. He slices that ball the other way for extra bases.
Lane Thomas goes after the first pitch, getting his first at bat. He came into the ball game as a pinch runner, taking over for Ezekiel Carrera. Try to catch up with these changes for Team Canada. They made some defensive changes. Ball and a strike. William Undershoot is from Okotoks, Alberta. He's in the Okotoks Dogs program, and I met him earlier this winter out in Okotoks at their awards dinner. Got a chance to say hi to him today as well. 2-1 to Lane Thomas with DJ Davis at second base. New third baseman for the junior national team is Damiano Palmigiani, third baseman, taking over there for Jason Willow. That's a fair ball. Lane Thomas hits it inside the bag at third. DJ Davis coming around. The ball gets away from the left fielder, Denzi Clark, and Lane Thomas slides into third with an RBI triple.
Talk about somebody who can run. He looks like he can run also. You just mentioned Palmigiani into the ball game when he's going to get tested early, but this was by him. Too quick. Left-hander with that slow curveball and a right-handed batter. The bat head just gets out a little bit too quick and keeps it fair down the left field line. Davis can jog on home. And Blue Jays have opened this thing up 7-0.
Mike Reeves lines it into right. RBI base hit for Reeves as Lane Thomas comes in to score, and it's 8-0.
Number 63, Yankees,
So the youngsters are getting a chance to play here against this junior national team, and they're making the most of it. Yeltsin Godino Pinch ran in the 5th, and there's a pitch way outside.
The changes are coming fast and furious. Can't keep up with it. This is our first chance to see a lot of these young players for the Blue Jays.
There's a strike, ball and a strike. You hear about these names and you don't get a chance to see them, as most of these players, none of these players, in fact, have been in camp. They have come over occasionally. Edward Olivares, who is on deck, he's been here from time to time filling in. We've seen Lane Thomas a bit.
DJ Davis has played a little bit. We remember his name and his speed.
Christian Williams got a start and hit a double. He was playing at first base, and now Connor Panis is there. 2-1, nobody out. We're in the bottom of the 6th inning. There's another walk. That has been a problem for this young pitching staff all afternoon. Inability to throw strikes, and remember, this is just their 2nd game since getting outdoors, coming to Florida.
7th walk. They had a good game yesterday against Tampa Bay. It was back and forth, close. This afternoon, Blue Jays, the young Blue Jays, are starting to open this thing up the last couple of innings, taking advantage of those base on balls.
This is Edward Olivares. Pinch ran for Steve Pearce back in the 5th inning, getting his first opportunity today. Takes a breaking ball downstairs. Ground ball, gloved by the 3rd baseman. He looks at second, not in time. That goes off the first baseman's glove, and another run's going to come in to score.
That's probably going to be their first error. That's one thing they've done this afternoon, is they've caught the ball. And that will probably go down as their first error, allowing the run to score.
That's the 3rd baseman just into the game, Damiano Palmengiani. And he looked at second, and by the time he changed his sights, it was too late. J.C. Cardenas.
You know, we've been talking all afternoon about the young kids that they have here playing. Now, it's got to be tough when the average age is 16 years old and you're going to be playing against professionals. Now, I know they're not that much older, but they are professionals, and they're a little bit more advanced as that ball gets by the 3rd baseman and one more run will score. But there's hope.
C.J. Cardenas gets a base hit.
So when you're 16 years old, you should be a sophomore in high school, right?
Yep.
Maybe a sophomore in high school, and you're playing against professionals. But for the upside, their average height is 6'3" and their average weight is 193. That's something to build on, and that's what Greg Hamilton has his team here for, to build and to learn. And there's going to be some learning curves the last 2 innings.
So the young left-hander William Undershoot is out of the ball game, and we'll have a pitching change when we come back. The Blue Jays lead it 10-0 over the junior national team. For the Canadian junior national team is Landon Leach, and he is a big-time prospect. He's committed to the University of Texas.
Let's take a look at the scouting report. He's just 17 years old, won't turn 18 until July. He's got that pitcher's body, 6'4", 220. His fastball sits at 90 to 94. And he's 42nd ranked high school prospect by Baseball America, so in the top 100. He's a former catcher, converted from catcher to the pitching mound. He's projected as a 2nd or 3rd round draft pick. And when you look at his body and you look at the ball coming out of his hand, you can see that there's a lot to build off of with this young man.
Pretty interesting matchup. Leach throwing to Bo Bichette, who's getting his first at bat. Bichette, 2nd round pick last year by the Blue Jays, just 19 years old. He's playing against kids his own age.
Well,
and he can swing it.
He can swing it. He got off to an incredible start for the team that he played on, and then he got hurt this past summer. Free swinger, and when he makes contact, I'm telling you, the ball just jumps off of his bat.
He's from St. Petersburg, Florida. And what a bat speed he's got. Ball flew through, that bat flew through the zone. He played at Lakewood High School in this area down St. Petersburg, a 2nd round pick, as we mentioned. And boy, he tore up the Gulf Coast League. Hit .427, and you can see that swing right there.
Yeah, I've read some articles about some of the tape measure home runs he hit as a high school senior last year. I mean, tape measure.
Hits this ball to left, got jammed a bit, but that's going to be over the left fielder's head up against the wall. And Bichette ends up at 2nd base with a double. And he got jammed a little bit. That didn't have great sound to it, but he hits it off the wall and left.
I like what I see. This is the first time that we put our eyes on some of these young kids that the Blue Jays have. He is in the top 10 in the Blue Jays farm system, and you can see why they like him so much. Whew. Thing flew through the strike zone, and the ball jumped off his bat. And you're right, he didn't hit it all that well, but still got it, what, about 330?
Yeah. He's a good-looking hitting prospect, as is this young man. Vladimir Guerrero Jr. 0 for 3 so far. A couple of flyouts and a ground out. A little over-anxious. He has chased a lot of pitches early in his at-bats.
Well, he sees some runners on base again.
Interesting thing to watch if you're at home now, and just watch the bat speed. We saw it with Bichette, and we're seeing it again with Guerrero. There's a difference.
Yeah, and as a scout, that's what you're looking for. You're looking for the ability for that hitter to wait as long as possible. And if you have bat speed, then you can recognize the pitch. With bat speed, it also creates a lot of backspin on the ball, so the ball jumps off of your bat. So the longer you can wait, more pitch recognition you have, the speed of the bat will drive a lot of balls out of the ballpark.
There are a lot of scouts here today. There have been probably 75, 80 scouts all afternoon, and obviously they're here to watch Landon Leach, and he's draft eligible. Guy that has committed to Texas. That doesn't mean he's going to go there. That may have broken his bat as Guerrero hits one off the end of the bat. So Landon Leach is from Pickering, Ontario, Pickering High School. He'll turn 18 on the 12th of July. As we mentioned, he's made a commitment to the University of Texas, which has done a great job of developing pitchers in the past.
There's a lot to like here. First of all, his frame, 6'4". He's got some size in his lower half where he can generate a lot of speed in those legs. Look at that backside and those legs. That's something that you gotta like. Just hasn't been pitching a whole lot, but he can learn because he's so young.
Guerrero hits a soft liner to the shortstop. That's just the first out of the inning.
You know, when you try and stay smooth like he is, and he's got very smooth mechanics, I mean, he's effortless, 92, 93, and he's 17 years old.
Yeah.
I mean, what's he going to look like when he's 22, 23?
Steven Strasburg.
Mm-hmm.
Just missed with that pitch Leach pitches for the Toronto Mets, and he has been highly regarded. He committed to Texas after a showcase in Jupiter, Florida.
That's a pretty good school.
Yeah.
If you don't get drafted or you can't sign or something happens where you just can't come to an agreement, going to Texas, pretty good option. Roger Clemens, Calvin Schiraldi.
Jim Acker, who pitched for the Blue Jays, came out of Texas.
Craig Swindell.
Yep.
I mean, the list goes on and on and on of great college pitchers who went to the University of Texas and then found themselves in the big leagues.
Connor Panis, the first baseman. Panis pinch hit in the 6th inning for Christian Williams and grounded out to second. Three and two. Eleven to nothing. The Blue Jays lead it. There's ball 4, another walk. That's been a problem all afternoon, and again, we have to mention it. This is just the second game for this team getting outdoors, and it's just been a rough day for the base on balls.
3 for the starter, 3 for William Sierra, who came in. A couple more this inning.
This is DJ Davis, who doubled and scored to start the inning. He's the 10th man to bat while he's at the plate. Let's check in with Arash Madani, who's got more on Bo Bichette.
Yeah, he's there on second base now, Buck. He grew up around the Rockies organization, with his dad Dante being a big part of things in Colorado. As a kid, he was approached one day by the team's shortstop at the time, who told him, "Bo, let's go take some ground balls." That was Troy Tulowitzki. And what Bichette remembers to this day was how hard Tulowitzki worked, how driven he is, and that's what Tulo instilled in Bichette. How to be on top of your work, be routine-oriented, how to take this seriously. And Tulowitzki also taught him how to throw on the run. Bo reminded me today, he makes the plays nobody else does.
I tell you what, you get around that atmosphere, and obviously they're going to have a lot of confidence, as Bichette is a good-looking young player, and we mentioned he's got off to a great start. Dante, his father, was part of the Blake Street Bombers, of course. Andres Galarraga, Larry Walker, Vinny Castillo, and Dante Bichette for the Colorado Rockies.
What do you put, what monetary value do you put on the contributions of Troy Tulowitzki? other than just the baseball part of it?
Yeah, what he has done for young players.
Yeah, yeah.
Remember, it was last year that he took a bunch of his teammates down to Cabo San Lucas during the All-Star break just to get away, and he has guys come to his house in the off-season to work out. Trevor Story talked about the impact he had, and Troy Tulowitzki had left Colorado, but Story's a shortstop, want to work out, open invitation.
And when we went back to Colorado last year, those two got together. You know, you can't put a monetary value on that, what he does and what he means for everybody else within the organization.
Lane Thomas hits this one a mile to center field. It's off the wall. Bichette's in to score. DJ Davis is getting waved home, and Lane Thomas can fly, man. Thomas with his second triple of the afternoon. Hits this one high off the fence in center field, and Blue Jay hitters are teeing off now.
He can run a little bit, and he's got some pop. Goodness gracious, he doubled and then gets all of that one to center field. And with that hit, that's going to be the inning.
So that's the inning. 9 runs in the inning, and we'll change sides as we come back. It'll be the 7th inning. The Blue Jays in a rout over the junior national team. authority of Rogers Blue Jays Baseball Partnership and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. And the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of Rogers Blue Jays Baseball Partnership. New pitcher for the Blue Jays in the ball game, Griffin Glaude, as he comes on to work here. He is the fourth pitcher to pitch for the Jays. Blue Jays 15 runs on 14 hits, and the young pitching staff for the junior national team just having control issues, and that sets up these hitters with hitter counts, and they've been teeing off.
13 of those runs in the last 2 innings. We saw Hartman last inning have a 1-2-3 inning, very quick inning, but remember, it looked like he might have got hit on his hand on that last play. So he is now out of the game. Another A-ball player. Cloudy was an A-ball again last year.
Clayton Keys, he has been impressive for this young team. He has doubled in the alley in right field. Made a nice running catch on a ball hit by Russell Martin. He is 1 for 2 so far. He takes a nice cut. We were talking about bat speed, and Keys has got the bat speed.
He's got bat speed. He's got some strength. But the thing that really stands out for me when I watched him the first time is how his bat is so flat, and that creates a very short swing. There's not a lot of extra movement. It's very short. He's very still at the plate, and he's going to be able to get that bat head, and you always hear, get it out front, hit the ball out in front. Well, he can do that. He can get that barrel to the ball.
Breaking ball. Griffin Glaude, another of the Vancouver Canadians last season, his second professional season. He appeared in 21 games for the Canadians, and here he walks the leadoff man in the 7th.
He was also promoted and pitched a little bit in Lansing last year. He was a non-drafted free agent from Lyon College.
Edward Julian has been in there the whole way. He's played second base, and he's walked twice. He got thrown out trying to steal back in the 2nd inning. Julian is from Quebec City, as this roster is made up from players all over Canada. There are 4 players from Quebec, 2 from Nova Scotia, 11 from Ontario, 1 from Manitoba, 9 from Alberta. Check that, 2 from Alberta and 9 from British Columbia. There's the strikeout. Let's check in with Arash Madani.
Well, Buck, a lot of questions about Devin Travis. How would he respond? How would the knee respond? He's answering them in the field and at the plate. Top of 7 in Tampa against the Yankees. Second hit of the day for Travis, an RBI single. Makes it 5-3 Blue Jays.
Devin Travis doubled in his first time up, an RBI single. Ryan Goins has homered this afternoon, as has Jared Saltalamacchia, the new catcher.
I was worried about him today, if he was going to be able to handle those 5 innings, and he had a hit yesterday. He made some good plays, and just like we were talking yesterday, he was very excited that that first ball came to him yesterday. He was able to erase that from his memory banks, the problems with his knee on that first play yesterday. Went to his left, a couple of quick steps, and then you have to stop very quickly, pivot around, and make the throw.
There's another strikeout. Paul Gianni, the third baseman, getting his first plate appearance, strikes out. Back-to-back strikeouts for Glaude.
First baseman number 16, Andre.
We mentioned the makeup of the junior national team. 11 players from Ontario, 9 from BC, 4 from Quebec, 2 Alberta, 2 Nova Scotia, and 1 from Manitoba. So across Canada represented very well. Victor Cerny, the catcher, is from Manitoba.
So you might be asking, well, how do you find those kids from all over Canada? Well, big thing is the T12. Adam Stern also has a batting cage facility in London, Ontario, and a lot of kids come there and they're able to scout these kids. But the T12 is the main one. They find those kids all over Canada. They bring them to Toronto. They spend 3, 4, 5 days doing a lot of playing a lot of games, doing a lot of batting practice, fielding practice. Devon White is involved in that. I had a chance to talk to Devo today, and he was saying that he can coach these kids. They get a chance to watch these kids, and from that T12, they are able to pick this junior national team.
Yeah, it's great exposure, and it also is an opportunity for scouts to come and watch Tournament 12 and get an idea on those. And I believe all those players that are invited there are draft eligible players, so they come in and the scouts come, college scouts and pro scouts, get a look at the players firsthand. Bremner takes a walk, second walk of the inning, sandwiched around a couple of strikeouts. So we'll have a pinch hitter here, Reese Craddy from Langley, BC, will bat, getting his first at bat today.
Look, that's why I always say, if you are good enough, they will find you. And that's what the scouts do. You don't have to play on the best teams, the best travel teams. You have to have baseball talent. You got to be blessed with great baseball talent. And then the scouts will eventually find you.
Way outside, bounced into dirt. Craddy, we mentioned he's from Langley, BC. He's 17 years old. Joined the junior national program in October of 2015. Big swing and a miss.
You got to talk to him about his favorite team, though. I can understand why he's a Seattle Mariners fan, but you got to cheer for your Blue Jays, don't you? He's also a big Andrew Benintendi fan.
There's another strikeout, and Grande actually strikes out the side. A couple of walks, but no damage. We'll go to the bottom of the 7th. Saul Blue Jays. Good afternoon here in Dunedin. Young fan getting a baseball. She was part of the choir that sang the national anthem. On response 911, a 3-in-1 solution that rescues your lawn.
Just happened last inning, and you love to see power versus power. Landon Leach is on the mound for the Canadian team. He's got some powerful arms, and it's a fun at bat against another youngster, a high prospect for the Blue Jays, Bo Bichette. Fouls off some high fastballs, but then gets a pitch he likes and turns on it. So our play of the game is a couple of power players, and Bo Bichette wins that one.
Well, Blue Jays have put up 15 runs on the scoreboard and 14 hits. Leach is back out there for another inning. This is Mike Reeves, the catcher, batting. He pulls this one down the right side. That's a fair ball. Reeves is turning around second. He's headed for second and will get there with a leadoff double. Well, we are pleased to be joined now, the starting catcher for the Canadian National Junior team, Noah Naylor. Naylor behind the plate to start. Noah, thanks for joining us.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
How'd the day go for you? You guys haven't played much just yet. It's kind of knocking off some of the rust.
Yeah. You know, it's just good to get out here in some hot weather, play baseball. Today was all right. You know, of course the score is not going our way, but you know, it's just a lot of fun to play against these guys.
Noah, you've been indoors, I guess, all winter long. This is the first time this week that you've been outside?
Well, actually, for my other team back home, the Ontario Blue Jays, we for March break we went to Vero Beach and played a week of baseball there.
Okay. Now, what can you learn from playing against these professional players?
Well, you know, there's a lot to learn. You know, some stuff that I've taken from these guys, just like play your heart out in every inning of the game, always remain focused, and just to have fun with it. It's the most important part.
What does it mean for you to get together with this team? I know you're going to have 3 more trips before the Junior World Championships in Thunder Bay, but how does this help you guys come together as a team to have these road trips like this?
You know, it's great. We've definitely become more of a family than just teammates. You know, we've known each other for a while now. We've been on quite a few trips together, and you know, we're all comfortable. And you know, it definitely helps with our team chemistry and helps us all play together rather than just individual players in the game.
Noah, you're a catcher. Did you have a chance to run into Russell Martin this morning and chat him up a little bit about being a catcher?
No, I didn't, but you know, I had a couple of encounters with him at the plate, and you know, we just kind of had like a "hi, how's it going" type conversation. But you know, I've had some past conversations with him before, like at the Baseball Canada banquet, and you know, he's just a great guy, inspiration, and definitely someone to look up to.
How about having an older brother that's gone through this process before, not only playing for this team, but then eventually getting drafted? How has that helped you in the development?
Josh, he's great. He's always been somewhat of a leader and someone that I could look up to. And, you know, that's just been great for my baseball career because, you know, he provides me with information, helps me get better every day, and just always tells me to be the player I am and to trust myself.
Do you model your game, your style as a hitter or a catcher around anybody that has influenced you?
I don't know if it's one person, but like when I'm catching, you know, I like to model my game after both Posey and Molina. You know, those are 2 of the greatest catchers in the game. Like I just like to play my defense just like they are, like be the best I can to help my pitcher get through the game and just help them to be the best that they could be throughout the game.
That's important. You picked up 2 pretty good ones. Did you have a chance to watch any of the WBC and watch Molina perform for Puerto Rico?
Oh yeah, I was just straight looking at him the whole time. It's definitely fun watching him play the way he does. Just so much intensity, and that's something that, you know, I'd like to carry over to my game too.
The leadership qualities, if you're paying attention, just incredible from Molina. Do you feel like you're a leader?
Oh yeah, definitely. You know, I see these guys as like just overall like just friends. You know, I know that like I can help them in certain ways, and obviously like they can help me too to be better in my game.
Well, Noah, we want to wish you the best with this junior national team and the rest of your career. I know you've got another year of high school before you have to think about college, but just keep working hard, man. It's great to meet you, and we want to wish you all the best.
Well, from what I saw, Noah, around the batting cage and from behind the plate, you've got a lot of skill and a lot of talent. Just keep working at it.
Thank you, for sure.
All right, thanks for
All
your
the best.
time.
Thank you for having me.
That's Noah Naylor, who is the younger brother of Josh Naylor, who is now playing in the San Diego Padres system. A nice young man with a lot of upside, that's for sure.
He just turned 17?
In February.
In February, just turned 17. To come on national broadcasts and speak as well as he spoke and have those type of leadership qualities, I mean, that's hard to do for a young kid.
Well, and you know what, too? It's a testimony to this entire program that these kids get exposed to all these different showcases, the great tournaments. They're around a lot of professional players, and they get a chance to see different situations. And he is going to go to the Under Armour All-American game at Wrigley Field in Chicago this July. So, you know, they have been exposed to it. They're prepared for it. And you have an older brother that set the example. That's pretty good standard.
Yeah, those are the things that you can't count on when you come to these types of, call them tournaments, or these away showcases, if you will, that being with your teammates and growing up. I guess you have to grow up so fast when you come down here and play against these older players.
Ground ball up the middle. Steps on the bag, throws the first double play. Bo Bichette grounds into an inning-ending double play, but the Blue Jays had another run. We'll go to the 8th. Good opportunity to meet some young Canadian players. Canada has some very veteran coaches on their staff. Adam Stern, a former major leaguer, is coaching on this team, and this is back in 2006 in the World Baseball Classic. He hit that ball over Matt Holliday's head in left field, and then in center field, Chase Utley hits a ball we all thought was out of the ballpark. But Adam Stern goes up against the wall, then robs Utley of an extra base hit, and that would lead to a Canada win over my Team USA.
Why do they keep doing that to you? That's what I want to know. Those haunting memories of you, the manager of that team. But hey, congratulations. Still 11 years later, it's still pretty cool to see that. And Adam Stern's here. He's meant a lot to youth baseball throughout
Adam Stern
Canada.
had a terrific World Baseball Classic. I believe he made the World Baseball Classic team that year, representing Canada. And now he's doing a great job with these kids, trying to guide them and give them advice and lean on them to help him out. New pitcher is Josh DeGraff, big right-hander coming into the ball game.
Those 35 games last year were spent with Lansing. He just turned 24 years old this past January. He too was a late-round draft pick by the Blue Jays back in 2015. He was a 31st round draft pick from Illinois. Big right-hander. Last year, that was in full season. Lansing went 5-7 with a respectable .343 earned run average.
Denzel Clark, the left fielder. There's the strike. It's 0-2 to Clark. And he swings and misses that breaking ball as McGrath gets the first out here in the 8th.
These are professionals, and the breaking ball is just a little bit better. It's a little bit tighter, a little bit sharper. First chance to see these types of pitches. That is 10 strikeouts now by Blue Jay pitching.
Cooper Davis has gone the distance in center field. He was thrown out attempting to reach base on a bunt in the 6th inning, bunted it right back to the pitcher. He picked up a base hit in his first at bat. He's 1 for 3 on the afternoon. DeGraff with that changeup missed down and away. Here's another guy with a lot of moving parts to his delivery.
It's a lot like Zach Jackson, doesn't he? Might not throw as hard as Zach Jackson, but you're right. Arms and legs, and all of a sudden the ball comes out of nowhere.
Fouled back out of play, as Pat mentioned. He's 24 years old. 31st round pick. Get a chance to pitch here in this ballpark. He played at Lansing last year, made 7 starts, part of a 35-game stint in A-ball. There's a little flare to left field. I think Thomas with the grab out there.
The shortstop number 11,
Adam Hall, we mentioned he was picked as a top 20 prospect in the Baseball America high school prospects, top 20 out of 100. He was picked at 16. He has made his commitment to Texas A&M.
Another good baseball program. I mean, a really good baseball program. Noah Naylor, I believe, has made a commitment to Texas A&M. Wouldn't that be something if those two were teammates on that team, the Aggies?
Anytime you get down in that southwest part of the country, a great baseball area for sure.
The SEC's pretty good baseball now.
Well, I think this coaching staff's done a great job of encouraging the players to think about college and think about their opportunities and how you can get an education and play baseball on a high level as well.
Opportunity, and that's what Robbie was talking about. Respecting the game, and the opportunity is going to be there for you.
Paul takes a walk. This is going to be the catcher. Came into the ball game as all 3 catchers have played today, so Archer Brookman will get his first at bat. He came into the game defensively last inning. He is from Montreal. Archer Brookman, he's 18. He has been involved with the junior national team since July of 2016 in the Cuba Summer Series. There's a liner into center, and E.J. Davis is there, makes a nice running catch to end the inning. So we'll go to the bottom of the 8th. It's all Blue Jays. Lots of offense and some pretty good pitching.
This program brought to you by New Scott's Lawn Response 911, a 3-in-1 solution that rescues your lawn.
Well, tomorrow on Sportsnet, our third game in as many days. Well, tomorrow on Sportsnet, our third game in as many days. It's the Orioles and the Blue Jays from here in Dunedin at 1 o'clock Eastern on Sportsnet. Guys, Steve Pearce now out of the game for the Blue Jays. Just spoke with the media in the clubhouse, and he was happy with how today went. Obviously, no balls went his way, but he said once you get out there and you're seeing swings and the flight of the ball, it all becomes natural. But you have to see it and get into live action because you can't simulate game speed in practice. Now, he still hasn't had any throws to the bases from the outfield, stuff like that. So he said the next steps, still continuing with the process. We're not there yet as he continues to rehabilitate after off-season elbow surgery to repair some tendons.
Thank you, Arash, and that's good news. Steve Pearce said that everything went well today, and got about a week left of spring training, so he has enough time to get more at-bats. And tomorrow, as Arash mentioned, we'll be right back here for the Orioles and the Blue Jays, while the split squad will take on the Tigers over in Lakeland.
Get a chance to see Francisco Liriano pitch tomorrow for the Blue Jays.
That's been pretty special.
He's been pretty good, hasn't he?
Liriano's been terrific, and I tell you what, everybody's excited about what he has done. And Liriano, his last time out, had 10 strikeouts in 4 2/3. This will be his 4th start of the spring. And Ryan Hissey, pinch hitter, lines out to the third baseman. Damiano Palmigiani made a nice play of it.
Got to put a little star next to him right there. Left-handed batter slicing that ball your way. You better be ready.
Connor Panis getting another at bat. He goes after the pitch and pops it straight up behind home plate. Archer Brookman, the catcher, is there and makes a nice play. He stayed with it. He bobbled it, but stayed with it. Concentration was keen as he was able to make that catch.
Staring right up into the sky, the cloudless sky where he was looking up into. He did everything properly. Dropped the face mask, threw it away, found the ball, turned his back to the infield, and now the ball's going to start coming back. He stays with it. It pops out of his glove, but he grabs it for the second out.
DJ Davis has been impressive his last 2 times up. He has doubled both times, driven in a pair of runs. He scored 2. For the afternoon, he is 2 for 3.
I got to mention who the pitcher is.
He
looks familiar, doesn't he?
Yeah, the pitcher is a new pitcher, and it's Michael Stoveman, who was the DH to start this game. Stoveman from Maple Ridge, BC. Started the game, got 2 hits. He went 2 for 2, lifted for a pinch hitter in the 7th, and now he is back here trying to close out the Blue Jays in the 8th.
He is listed as an infielder with the team, but I like what I see with his mechanics as a pitcher.
Has a nice inning of work, clean inning. First time coming back out of the dugout as a pitcher. 1, 2, 3 would go to the 9th.
place to watch the action this season than at the Rogers Center. 6, 12, and 20 game packs are available. You can get some by calling 416-341-1234 or bluejays.com/game packs. Buck Tabby, as a native Nova Scotian, thrilled to have 2 Blue Nosers on this Team Canada roster here today.
How about that? They are from all over the place, and not only the Team Canada roster, but the new pitcher for the Blue Jays, Andrew Case, is from St. John, New Brunswick. He went to Lethbridge College in Alberta, and he is a graduate from Tournament 12.
How about that? It just comes full circle. We've been talking all day about the junior national team. Well, here is a young man who was discovered at the Baseball Canada Tournament 12 Baseball Classic. And he did okay in that Classic, didn't he?
Threw a no-hitter in the Tournament 12, and the Blue Jays signed him as an undrafted free agent in October of 2013. So there's a perfect example of somebody taking advantage of that. This is a line drive over the head of the left fielder, Lane Thomas. And once again, very interesting. Clayton Keys gets another double. He's had a great day. 2 for 3, pair of doubles and a walk.
You know, I think he broke his bat. It sounded like he broke his bat, and he hit it over the head of the left fielder. Ball in the inner half. He's so quick, so strong. Gets it out there, misjudged just a little bit by Thomas. He took a step or 2 in, and by that time it was a little bit too late.
I think Thomas reacted to the sound.
Yes, it sounded like he broke his bat.
Good-looking young player. Leadoff double here in the 9th. This is Edward Julian, who's gone the distance as the second baseman. A couple of walks and a strikeout. Canada has 5 hits. Clayton Keys has 2 doubles. Good looking player, Pat.
Yeah, I mean, you can tell if you're around the game enough and you can just watch, certain guys can do things a little bit easier than other guys, and his game is very easy.
Glides around the bases, moves around well in the outfit. I mean, a nice running catch on Russell Martin earlier in the ball game. 0-2. Chopped up the first base line, and that'll go into foul territory.
And Edward Julian has had some pretty good at-bats this afternoon. He walked his first 2 times up, got caught stealing, and he advanced on a wild pitch the second time up. But his at-bats have been good at-bats, where he has really made that pitcher work. Fouled off a couple of tough pitches, keep his at-bats alive. See why they have him in an RBI spot, number 5 in the lineup. He gives you a pretty good effort up there.
Puts the bat on that ball to stay alive. He chokes up on the bat handle. A little better bat control. This time he can make contact. Good breaking ball from Andrew Case.
It's tight, and it's a late breaker. Reminds me a little bit of Andrew Albers, pitcher in the big leagues. Does Andrew Case. A little sinker slider. It's a good finishing pitch.
1 away. Damiano. There's a ground ball. Knocked down at second. Throw to first. Scoop over at first. Nice play. Good play on both ends.
Blue Jays have made some nice plays today. I think I said Andrew Albers. I meant Matt Albers, who's got a great sinker and a great slider. And when you've got that good sinker coming, you're going to get a lot of ground ball out. So infield, be ready. Andino to his right. Picks it and then takes his time from one knee and shows off a pretty strong arm.
2 away now. This is Bremner, who has played first base all afternoon. Falls behind 0-1. There's a strike on the corner, 1-2.
He doesn't light up the radar gun, but he's got some good movement on that two-seamer.
This is the 6th time in the last 7 years the junior national team has held spring training in St. Pete. This is a bouncing ball over the pitcher's head. There's Galdino there and makes a nice play, and that'll do it. That's the ball game as Case gets the last out of the game. 16 runs on 16 hits, and a lot of youngsters got a chance to come over and play for the Blue Jays this afternoon.
Well, this game was all about the junior national team and a chance to showcase them throughout all of Canada, and there's a lot of bright spots. So we talked at the beginning of the show about this being an athletic bunch of kids, and that came to fruition this afternoon. There's a lot of talent on this young team, and we wish them well this whole summer.
Greg Hamilton and his coaching staff does a terrific job as they're out there waiting to shake hands, and the professional players not used to doing that, but now the junior national team all lined up, and what a great opportunity it's been for these youngsters, and Greg Hamilton and his coaching staff deserve a lot of credit. Creighton Keys had a good day at the plate, and how about Michael Stoveman? A couple of hits and finished up on the mound. Overall, a good day. We got more coming from Dunedin. We'll be back after this commercial break.
Okay, let's do this.